The church hallway buzzed like a kicked hive, organ music wheezing through the walls, guests chattering in that forced wedding day pitch. I stood there, Beatrice Taylor, 28 and supposedly blissful, rooted to the scuffed hardwood, staring at my phone. The email glared back, stark as a slap. Honeymoon reservation canceled. Not rescheduled, not tweaked, canceled, full stop. My breath hitched, a tight little knot in my chest unraveling into something hot and jagged. I knew who'd done it. Evelyn Sanders, my mother-in-law, the woman who'd spent the last 6 months turning my wedding into her personal dictatorship. I scrolled again, hoping I'd misread. Nope. We regret to inform you. Due to a family emergency call from Mrs. Sanders. My honeymoon, the one Dad had secretly saved for, his last gift before cancer took him, was ash. My hands shook, the phone screen blurring as I blinked hard. Beatrice! Lauren Hayes, my best friend since we were braces and ponytails kids, snapped me out of it. Her voice cut through the haze, dry as a desert wind. Photographer's waiting. Your mother-in-law's about to lose her damn mind. She leaned against the wall, arms crossed, her emerald dress catching the light. At 27, she still had that knack for calling bullshit without blinking. I managed a laugh, brittle and sharp. Be there in a second, just grieving my honeymoon. The words tasted like sour candy, sweet with sarcasm, bitter underneath. Lauren's eyebrows shot up. She snatched the phone from my hand, her hazel eyes narrowing as she read. Canceled? What the hell? Evelyn? Who else I said, swiping at a tear before it could streak the mascara Evelyn's overpriced artist had shellacked onto my face. She's always twitchy when her plans don't stick. Guess my dream trip didn't fit the script. She's turned your wedding into the Evelyn extravaganza, Lauren said, handing the phone back. Starring her, directed by her, probably with a standing ovation for her at the end. You okay? No, I admitted, voice low. But I will be. My chest burned, not just with loss, but with something else. Anger, maybe, or the first flicker of a fight. Evelyn thought she could erase Dad's gift, my one piece of him on this day. She'd miscalculated, badly. Get in there before she storms out here with a megaphone, Lauren said, nudging me toward the main hall. But Bea, we're not letting this slide. I nodded, squaring my shoulders under the weight of my veil. The hallway noise swelled, laughter, clinking glasses, the organ's relentless drone. This was supposed to be my day. Instead, it was hers. But not for long. I clutched my phone like a weapon, the email a loaded round. Evelyn wanted control? Fine. She'd just lit the fuse on her own undoing. The main hall hit me like a spotlight, sunlight pouring through stained glass, casting jewel-toned patches on the pews. Guests milled about, sipping champagne, their murmurs a polite hum, and there she was, Evelyn Sanders, 55 and imperious, holding court by the altar. Her cream dress, suspiciously close to white, shimmered as she waved the photographer around like a baton. I stepped in, heels clicking, and caught Ryan's eye. My almost husband, 29 and handsome in his tux, shot me that sheepish, sorry whisper he'd been leaning on too much lately. Beatrice, darling, Evelyn's voice oozed honey, the kind that hides a sting. She turned, her smile all teeth and no warmth, and I felt the room tilt under her gaze. We simply must get these photos done before the light shifts. Ryan slid beside me, his hand brushing mine. Apologetic, sure, but spineless so far. Before I could speak, Evelyn swooped in, planting herself between us. Mother of the groom here, she chirped to the photographer, a wiry guy who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Next to Ryan, please. Family unity, you understand. I froze, jaw tight. Unity? Like when she'd swapped my blue and silver palette for her burgundy and gold obsession? Actually, I heard myself say, voice steady despite the pulse hammering in my ears, just Ryan and me first. The silence crashed down, heavy as a dropped hymn book. Evelyn's smile didn't budge, but her eyes went flinty. "Beatrice, dear," she said, loud enough for the front row to perk up. "This is a family occasion. We do things as a family." "It's our wedding," I countered, feeling Ryan's fingers twitch against mine. Support, finally. "Unity starts with us." "Mom," Ryan started, his tone soft but edged. "Maybe—" "Oh, no need for a fuss," Evelyn cut in, already positioning herself center frame, her cream dress a smug little flag. "Let's not make a scene." The photographer shrugged, resigned, and snapped away as she directed. "Chin up, Ryan. Beatrice, smile bigger. Family album perfection." I bit my tongue so hard I tasted copper, forcing a grin that felt like a grimace. Family album? The same excuse she'd used to ditch my bouquet, rearrange the seating, nix my dad's tribute dance. This wasn't unity. It was her rewriting me out of my own story. Ryan squeezed my hand, another silent, "Sorry." But it wasn't enough. Not anymore. Evelyn thought she'd won this round. She hadn't seen me play yet. I bolted from the hall, the air thick with Evelyn's perfume and triumph. The church garden welcomed me, quiet, roses drooping in the late afternoon heat, a sanctuary from the circus. Her stage whisper chased me out. "Poor girl, no mother to steer her right. Thank goodness I'm here." It landed like a barb, hooking into the raw spot where Mom used to be. Lauren found me by the stone bench, my phone still clutched like a lifeline. "You okay?" she asked, softer now, her usual snark dialed back. I shook my head and handed her the phone. She read the email, eyes widening. "That hag canceled your honeymoon? She can do that?" "Faked a family emergency," I said, laughing, sharp, sour, unhinged. "Even got a, 'Hope your mother-in-law's okay.'" From the agent. "Dad's gift, Lauren. She torched it." Lauren exhaled hard. "What's the move?" I stared at the roses, petals curling brown at the edges. "Not sure yet," I admitted, voice steadying as something clicked. Hot, fierce, alive. "But she's picked the wrong enemy. Game on." Lauren grinned, a glint in her eye. "That's my girl. She's got no idea what's coming." The church bells tolled, deep and insistent. Ceremony time. I straightened my dress, the one Evelyn had helped pick, and felt the shift inside me. She'd taken my wedding, my honeymoon, my dad's memory. But she'd misjudged one thing: how far I'd go to take it all back. 3 days after the wedding, I sat cross-legged in the attic of my childhood home, surrounded by dusty boxes and the ghosts they held. The house was slated for sale next month, another piece of my past slipping away. But I wasn't here to mourn. I was here to dig. Lauren knelt beside me, her hands careful as she pried open a cardboard flap, the air thick with the scent of old paper and mothballs. We'd been at it for hours, sifting through Mom's recipes, Dad's fishing lures, anything that might hint at the honeymoon fund Evelyn had torched. Then a photo fluttered to the floor, me at 6, perched on Dad's shoulders at the beach, both of us grinning like the world couldn't touch us. My throat tightened. Mom had snapped that shot, our only family vacation, scraped together from a year of overtime shifts. "Found something," Lauren said, pulling me back. She held up a manila envelope, the words, "For Beatrice's wedding," scrawled in Dad's blocky handwriting across the front. My hands trembled as I tore it open. Inside, a USB drive, a stack of documents, and a letter, folded neat as he always did. I unfolded it, my voice catching as I read aloud. "My dearest B, if you're reading this, I couldn't walk you down the aisle. But I made sure to leave you something special." The words blurred as tears welled up. He'd saved for years, extra jobs, late nights, setting aside $15,000 with his old friend George Miller, a family lawyer, for my honeymoon. "No one can interfere," he'd written. "This is yours." Lauren's eyes widened, a slow grin spreading. "Your dad's a legend, B. Evelyn's screwed." I clutched the letter, the weight of his love sinking in. She thought she'd erased him from my day, but here he was, fighting for me still. I grabbed my phone and dialed George, praying he hadn't retired. Beatrice Taylor, his warm voice answered, steady as ever at 60. I was wondering when you'd call. You knew about the fund? I asked, breathless. Your father made me promise to wait till you reached out. Wanted it to be a surprise. And safe. It's $15,000 plus 5 years of interest. Bring your ID tomorrow at 10. I hung up, staring at the envelope. Evelyn had canceled a trip she didn't even know existed, but Dad had outsmarted her from beyond the grave. Lauren squeezed my shoulder. What now? Now, I said, voice hardening as I wiped my eyes. We take it back. All of it. The attic felt less like a tomb and more like a war room. Evelyn wanted to play puppet master? I just found the strings to cut. The next morning, Ryan and I sat in George's office, the air sharp with coffee and old leather. Venetian blinds sliced the sunlight into stripes across his mahogany desk as he slid a folder toward me. The fund's yours alone, Beatrice, George said, his gray eyes steady. Separate from any joint accounts or family meddling. Your father insisted. $15,000, plus interest, untouchable by Evelyn's claws. My phone buzzed, her number. I declined it, smirking as the screen went dark. Ryan leaned forward, his dark hair still mussed from sleep. We could rebook the original trip, he said, but then paused, a spark lighting his hazel eyes. Or something she can't touch. Maldives? At 29, he'd finally found his spine, and I loved him for it. I grinned, slow and dangerous. Pricey, hidden, yes, let's move. My mind raced. Crystal waters, overwater bungalows, a paradise Evelyn couldn't sniff out. We left George's and hit a cafe across town, far from her usual haunts. Lauren met us there, her laptop open, while Ryan dialed Tyler Brooks, his 30-year-old travel agent buddy, on video call. Maldives, Tyler said, scrolling options, his voice crackling through the screen. Luxury resorts? Privacy policies tighter than a vault? 3 weeks from now? Book it, I said, leaning into Ryan's shoulder. Use your work email, Rye. No traces she can find. Tyler nodded, fingers flying. And we locked it in. 2 weeks of bliss, paid from Dad's fund, hidden under layers of stealth. My phone buzzed again. Evelyn, texting about a mandatory family dinner tonight. I showed Lauren, who arched a brow. Tonight's dinner, she said, tapping her chin. I've got a spin for that, too. Something sharp? I asked, feeling the plan take shape. Razor-edged, she promised, her grin mirroring mine. The cafe hummed around us, clinking mugs, murmured chatter, but I felt the shift. Evelyn thought she'd cornered me with her cancellations and ultimatums. She didn't know I was already 3 moves ahead, plotting a getaway she'd never see coming. This wasn't just a trip, it was a declaration. She'd underestimated me, and that was her first mistake. That evening, I walked into Evelyn's pristine dining room, the air heavy with her signature burgundy and gold obsession. Curtains, tablecloth, even the napkins screamed her taste. Shadows stretched long across the hardwood as I smoothed my deep blue dress, not the burgundy one she'd gifted me, a choice she clocked the second I stepped in. Her eyes narrowed, a flicker of irritation breaking her composed mask. At 55, she wielded control like a scepter, but tonight I held the trump card. Beatrice, darling, she said, air kissing my cheek, her voice a syrupy blade. That dress is bold, though the one I bought would have been more appropriate for a family dinner. Her cream blouse gleamed under the chandelier, a subtle flex of her authority. Ryan slid his hand to my lower back, a quiet, "I've got you," in his touch. I think she looks beautiful, he said, his tone firm, and Evelyn's smile tightened, a hairline crack in her facade. We sat, the table groaning with her overdone spread, roast, potatoes, the works, like she was auditioning for Matriarch of the Year. She prattled on about holiday plans, her voice a velvet steamroller, but I tuned her out, waiting for my moment. When the dessert plates hit the table, I pulled an envelope from my purse and slid it across to her. An announcement, I said, voice sweet as pie. She opened it, revealing a donation receipt, $5,000 to the local children's hospital, in her name, funded by the canceled Honeymoon cash. Her face drained to chalk. "What's this?" she asked, fingers tightening on the paper. "We donated the money we saved from canceling the honeymoon," I said, leaning back, my smile a blade of its own. "Since you were so worried about family obligations, we figured you'd be proud to have this in your name." The lie was delicious. She'd canceled it. Not us. But let her squirm. "Beatrice, I don't understand," she stammered, her composure fraying. "It's simple, Mom," Ryan cut in, his voice low and final. "We're done letting you control everything. From now on, we decide." The room felt electric, her grip slipping as he chose me over her script. I stood, smoothing my blue dress, my flag of defiance. "Excuse us," I said. "We've got planning to do." "Our way." We walked out, her stunned silence ringing in my ears. In the car, I texted Lauren. "Phase 1 done. Push the charity story. Let's see her spin that." Ryan squeezed my hand as we pulled away. "She's gonna hate this." "Good," I said, grinning into the dusk. "She's not the only one who can play family games." The donation was just the opening salvo. Evelyn thought she'd buried my honeymoon, but I'd turned her generosity into a public noose. She wanted a perfect family album. I'd give her one she'd never forget. The days ticked down to our secret Maldives escape, and Lauren's apartment became our war room. We packed suitcases there, swimsuits, sunscreen, freedom, stashing them out of Evelyn's reach. I lounged on her thrift store couch, folding a sarong, when Ryan's phone buzzed. Tyler's voice crackled through. "Heads up, someone's sniffing around local travel agencies asking about bookings under your names." My stomach dropped. Evelyn. She was closing in, her control freak radar pinging like mad. "She's getting desperate, Yuri," I said, pacing the hardwood as Lauren grinned from her laptop. "Let's throw her off." She pulled up a travel site and booked a fake Vancouver trip, fully refundable, for the same dates as our Maldives getaway, using my email. "Done," she said, hitting confirm with a flourish. "Now we wait." Hours later, I slipped the bait to Evelyn at an upscale decor store she'd dragged me to, her arms full of burgundy swatches. "These would warm your living room," she said, not looking up, her voice a velvet command. I fingered an ocean blue fabric instead, casual as a shrug. "I was thinking blue, matches the Vancouver photos we'll take." Her head snapped up, eyes narrowing. "Vancouver? Solo? What about family?" Her tone tightened, a leash pulling taut. "Space is family too, isn't it?" I said sweetly, watching her bite the hook. "Just a little trip to clear my head after everything." She didn't blink, but I saw it, her mind racing to cancel something she didn't even control. I left her clutching her swatches, texting Lauren as I hit the sidewalk. "She's in." Vancouver's her new obsession. Ryan met me at Lauren's later, shaking his head. "She's probably calling every agency in the state by now." "Good," I said, zipping my real suitcase shut. "Let her chase shadows while we slip away." The ruse wasn't just a distraction. It was a mirror, reflecting her need to meddle right back at her. She thought she'd cornered me again. She was about to learn how wrong she was. Saturday night loomed like a storm front as Ryan and I pulled up to Evelyn's house. 6 cars lined the drive, family, summoned for her intervention. She'd turned my Vancouver lie into a crisis, and I was ready to flip it. Inside, the living room buzzed with tension. Aunts and uncles perched on her burgundy furniture, their faces etched with rehearsed concern. Diane Carter, Ryan's 52-year-old aunt, hugged me at the door, whispering, "She's got them all wound up," with a wink that said she wasn't buying it. Evelyn swept in, her pressed blazer a shield, her expression pure soap opera pity. "Beatrice, darling, We're so worried, she said, loud enough for the room to lean in. Your emotional instability. The secret trips? She dabbed her eyes with a tissue, Oscar-worthy. And that donation in my name? A cry for help. I sat, Ryan's hand steady on my shoulder, and let her wind herself up. You're right, I said, voice calm as glass. We should talk about everything. I pulled my phone from my purse and hit play on a saved voicemail. The travel agent's voice filled the room. Mrs. Sanders, we're confirming you authorized the cancellation of your daughter-in-law's honeymoon. Gasps rippled out. Evelyn's mouth opened, then shut. That's not... She started, but I wasn't done. I tossed a stack of screenshots onto the coffee table. Emails where she'd swapped vendors, texts overriding our choices, all time-stamped. And this, I said, opening Mom's journal to a marked page. 28 years ago, she tried to cancel my parents' wedding venue, too. I read aloud. Evelyn thrives on control. Don't let her rewrite you. The room turned, whispers swelling. Diane's eyes widened. Uncle Tom shifted uncomfortably. You said she canceled it herself? Diane said to Evelyn, voice sharp. To protect the family? She was! Evelyn snapped. But the cracks showed, her facade splintering. I stood, pulling an envelope from my purse and handing it to her. One more thing. She opened it, a collage of our Maldives itinerary, takeoff in 10 hours, plastered with booking confirmations. We're not going to Vancouver, I said, smiling as her face went from shock to fury. We're taking the honeymoon Dad planned, the one you stole. You lied, she accused, standing so fast her chair screeched. No, Evelyn, I said, stepping closer. We protected ourselves from someone who violates boundaries like it's a hobby. Check your phone. Your charity post is trending. She fumbled it out, eyes bulging at the notification. Me, tagging her in the hospital donation story, now viral. The room erupted. Diane started clapping, others joined, a tide turning against her. You can't do this, she hissed, chair scraping again. I told everyone about Vancouver. Like you told them you canceled our honeymoon, Ryan asked, his quiet steel cutting deeper than my fire. Mom, it's finished. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, leaving a wake of stunned relatives. Diane raised her glass. To the happy couple, may your escape be as brilliant as this. I met Ryan's eyes, the weight lifting. Evelyn's reign was over, and we were hours from freedom. The Maldives were a dream, 12 days of white sand and silence, our phones on airplane mode, Evelyn's reach a distant echo. On day 13, sprawled in a beachfront hammock, Ryan broke the quiet. You need to see this, he said, his face lit by his phone screen as he tapped the resort Wi-Fi. I leaned over, the ocean lapping below us, and saw dozens of missed calls, hundreds of texts, and an email from Diane. Your mother-in-law's meltdown gone viral. Play it, I said, heart thudding. The video loaded. A local news site, shaky footage of Evelyn at a charity gala, designer dress askew, champagne glass sloshing. They think they can embarrass me, she slurred into a snatched mic, her voice a train wreck. I planned the perfect wedding, and they repay me by running off to some island, the crowd murmured, awkward and tense. That donation? Their honeymoon? I canceled it for them, for family. Security ushered her off, her rant fading into stunned silence. Oh my God, I breathed, the hammock swaying as Ryan scrolled Diane's note. Evelyn had doubled down post-dinner, playing philanthropist to save face, but the gala cracked her wide open. Bridge Club suspended her, Ryan read. Christmas parties at Diane's now, not Mom's after 20 years. She's lost the narrative, I said, a slow grin spreading. My phone buzzed. Evelyn, meeting your return flight. We fix this now. I showed Ryan, who ran a hand through his hair. She tracked our flight? He asked. Probably bullied every airline, I said, dialing our planner, Claire, from Act One's chaos. Private terminal exit, Car waiting, she confirmed before I finished. She's at the main gate, clueless. Back home, Diane waited in our driveway, dusk painting the asphalt gold. Things shifted while you were gone, she said, hugging us. After the video, everyone started talking. Her meddling's not just you. Evelyn texted again. Family handles this together. I smirked, typing back. Family watched your gala rant. They're deciding for themselves now. She'll be at the terminal anyway, Ryan said. Let her wait, I replied, the weight of paradise still in my bones. For once, she's got nothing to hold. Evelyn's empire was crumbling, and I'd handed her the shovel. The sun dipped low as Ryan and I unpacked in our apartment, its golden light spilling across the hardwood, warming the chaos of open suitcases. Clothes spilled out, swimsuits still sandy from the Maldives, a testament to our escape. I dug through my carry-on, fingers brushing Mom's journal at the bottom, its leather worn from years of her fierce, kind hands. I opened it to a random page, her words steadying me. Love offers freedom, to grow, to change, to become. My chest tightened, not with grief, but with clarity. Evelyn's meltdown, the family's awakening, it wasn't our burden to fix. Ryan glanced over, catching my smile as he folded a shirt. What's on your mind? He asked, his voice soft, the edge of a partner who'd finally stepped up. Happy endings aren't victories, I said, setting the journal down. They're choices. We chose ourselves, gave her a chance to do the same. Her therapy text lingered in my phone. Coffee next week, no demands. A crack in her armor we'd pried open. I'd replied, maybe. Public place, our terms. She'd agreed, a first step, not our responsibility. He grinned, tossing a sock my way. New address for Mom's inbox? We're house hunting next week. One fight at a time, I said, catching it with a laugh. Tonight, we just live. Outside, dusk settled, not as newlyweds under Evelyn's thumb, but as us, free, unbroken. That was the sweetest win, not her fall, but our rise.